Confidence is a lot like a garden. It doesn't just bloom overnight. It takes tending, watering the seeds we planted last time, pulling a few weeds, maybe even building a little fence to keep out the critters that nibble away at our self-worth. And that's exactly where we're picking up today. Because now that you've started rewriting your inner script, reclaiming your space, and reigniting those passions, it's time to protect that growing confidence. And how do we do that? By setting boundaries that honor you and standing tall, both inside and out. Let me tell you about my buddy, Frank. Frank's a retired teacher, 67 years old, and for years, he'd say yes to everything. Babysit the grandkids? Sure, even when he was exhausted. Loan money to his nephew? No problem, even if it meant skipping his own vacation. And you know what happened? People kept asking for more, and Frank? He started feeling like a doormat. Invisible, unappreciated, and honestly, a little resentful. Then one day, his daughter asked him to watch the kids again. On the same weekend, he'd planned a fishing trip with his buddies. Instead of his usual "sure, sweetheart," he took a deep breath and said, "I'd love to help, but I've got plans this weekend. How about next Friday?" And guess what? The world didn't end. His daughter apologized for assuming he was free, and Frank? He spent that weekend knee-deep in a lake, laughing so hard he almost fell out of the boat. Here's the thing. Boundaries aren't about being mean or selfish. They're about saying, my time, my energy, and my needs matter too. Start small. Next time someone asks for a favor, pause. Ask yourself, do I want to do this? Or am I just afraid of disappointing them? If it's the latter, try this phrase. Let me check my calendar and get back to you. That simple pause gives you power. It says, I'm worth considering. And when you hold that line, people notice. They might grumble at first. Change is uncomfortable. But over time, they'll respect you more. Because here's a secret. People treat us exactly how we teach them to. Now, let's talk about your body, but not in the way you might think. I'm not here to nag you about standing up straight. This is deeper. Because how you carry yourself doesn't just send a message to others, it sends a message to you. Think about this. When you're slumped in a chair, eyes down, shoulders curled forward, what's your inner voice saying? Probably something like, don't look at me. I've got nothing to offer. But when you sit tall, shoulders back, chin level, your brain gets a signal. Hey, I'm here. I'm ready. Take my friend Rosa. She's 71 and barely 5 feet tall, but walk into a room with her, and heads turn. Why? Because she moves like she owns the place. She once told me, after my hip surgery, I spent months shuffling around, staring at the ground. Then my physical therapist said, Rosa, you're healing. Now act healed. So I started pretending. Walked like I was on a runway. Smiled at strangers. And you know what? The pretending became real. Your challenge this week. Practice power poses for 2 minutes a day. Stand in front of the mirror, feet hip-width apart, hands on your hips, like a superhero. Breathe deep. Say out loud, I am here. It'll feel silly at first. Do it anyway. Science shows this boosts testosterone, the confidence hormone, and lowers cortisol, the stress hormone. But more importantly, it reminds your body and your spirit that you're not fading into any background. Now, I won't pretend this is easy. Setting boundaries might mean awkward conversations. Standing tall might feel strange if you've spent years making yourself small. But here's what I've learned. Confidence isn't about being fearless. It's about acting despite the fear. Every time you say no to something that drains you, you're saying yes to yourself. Every time you straighten your spine, you're telling your nervous system, we're not hiding anymore. And bit by bit, those small acts add up. One day, you'll catch yourself thinking, wait, when did I stop worrying about being seen? When did I start knowing I deserve to be? That day's closer than you think.